Praise the Lord. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Reese. I'm a pediatric and emergency medicine resident. When I think about a testimony that I have so many, especially related to my career in medicine and my journey to medicine. But so many times throughout my journey to medicine and throughout medical school, I thought to myself, I don't know how people do this without Jesus. Because there were so many times in medicine and in my journey to becoming a doctor where I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Or when honestly, the statistics were stacked against me in terms of I would take different tests and they would say, oh, you're projected to score this or you're projected to do this. And it could be very discouraging, but I would just sit down with God. And I feel like God was telling me, if I brought you to this, I'm going to bring you through this, and it's for a reason. And I think without the help of the Lord, I definitely would have fallen into anxiety or depression, but it was God who honestly kept my head up. I remember one time when I was so discouraged about this big board exam that I had to take and didn't know how I was going to get through this. I listened to a sermon that night and it was entitled, Mr. Big Stuff, Who Do You Think You Are? And it was about David and Goliath and how no matter what your mountain is or what your Goliath is, who are you to tell God that he can't get you through that thing? But I would say that my testimony through medical school into becoming a doctor is more than just about my individual testimony. It's also about what God has done in the lives of other people. When I was in my third year of medical school, and I was on a pediatric service helping to take care of a particular patient. And this particular patient had a brain tumor, and so he had a specific device in his brain to help decrease the pressure there. And I remember we were in the room working on things, and a nurse comes in, and they say, hey, this kid's eyes, one of their pupils is way bigger than the other. And we thought, oh, it's just a fluke, oh, maybe they're just seeing something, and maybe it's not actually such a drastic difference. And we went in, and one of his pupils was so much bigger than the other. And I had just seen him earlier that day. I'd been taking care of him for that entire week. All of a sudden, he couldn't move the whole right side of his body. And so that's when it got scary, and we called for a scan of his brain. This child had had a brain bleed. And before I left that day, the residents came up to me and they told me, Elizabeth, I'm sure that you haven't experienced something like this before, and we want to let you know so you're prepared. When you come in the next day, this child probably won't be alive. Going home, I knew that they were telling me, when you come in, this child, he's going to be dead, and we want you to be prepared for that. And on my way home, I was sad. I remember crying. But I also remember having such a conviction deep down in my soul that God is a miracle worker, and that if this child was going to make it through, it wasn't going to be just because of science and medical intervention. It was going to be by the help of the Lord. And so I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I sent text to my friends and said, we need to pray for this child. And I remember coming in the next day not knowing what had happened, and I finally got up the courage to ask, hey, how is that kid doing? And someone said, Elizabeth, you won't believe it. It's miraculous what happened to this kid. They said the time in which they caught the fact that this kid had had a brain bleed is unheard of. Normally it takes hours before someone realizes that a kid has had a brain bleed, and they caught his within minutes. And also the doctor who normally cares for him happened to be at the hospital that day, and that's normally not the case. Oh, and also the neurosurgeon that helped to place the device was in-house that day, and that normally is not the case. They said they put a breathing tube down that kid's throat, and they were able to take it out the next morning. And normally if you had a brain bleed, a lot of times people aren't able to move. They may not be conscious afterward. They said, Elizabeth, that kid is moving both sides of his body now, and he's playing and he's throwing things. They said it is unheard of. And I remember thinking to myself, this is not happenstance. This is not just, a miraculous situation. This is a miracle, and God did this. And so just reflecting back, I think about my whole journey to becoming a doctor. I think about this child. I think about all the ways that God has made, and I am so very grateful and just in awe of God, the faith that these experiences have built in me. This is why when God put in you, if he brings you to something, he's going to bring you through This was one of those instances. God brought me to this and brought me through this because He knew that when things happen like this in people's lives, you need someone in a prayer room, because it's only by the help of the Lord that anything happens, and that God is truly a miracle worker.